Hey everyone! It's
Hi.
Nick just said something very funny, and like
I don't know if it was caring or if it was sarcastic. We'll see.
it was funny though,
Time will tell.
and also weird, but funny. So I'm Sarah, one of the founders of the Sisters Enchanted, where it's our mission to make magic mainstream. And one of the ways that we want to make magic mainstream is by talking about astrology. Hi, Trina. So we've been talking a lot about astrology. We did a watch party last night on our sun signs chat. We're going to do one tonight on our moon signs also. So get excited for that. And if you have been, not reading the posts, our astrology class kicks off on Monday. If you want to join us for that, I'm going to put the link right here in the comments. So we are here, though, right now to talk about retrograde. I just have a serious case of deja vu. Yes, sistersenchanted.com. I'm putting the link here if anybody wants to check out our astrology class too. Anywho, we're here to talk about, Adelina's proud of herself for remembering. We are going to talk about retrogrades because there's so much retrograde stuff happening. So before we do that though, Nick, tell us what a retrograde is and why we should not actually panic during a retrograde.
So a retrograde is when we see from planet Earth, we see in the sky, we see all the planets moving around. And what appears to happen is that the planet moves backwards. But all it is it's never moving backwards. It's always moving around the sun. And it's just from the way that we perceive the planet moving around the sun. And as it gets closer to us, it looks like it slows down. And then as it goes again, it looks like it's going backwards until it finally makes its full circle and starts moving forward again in the sky. And basically what happens in astrology is that it says that whatever the planet means in the sign that it's in, you take that meaning and then you make it kind of introspective so that you're changing the way that you perceive what's happening around you.
So it's not actually like
right
moving backwards. It's all about perception, people.
You're always moving forward.
Yeah, true story. Hi, Cinnamon. Haven't seen you in a while. And Paula, I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you guys are doing well. You guys are up in Canada. I don't know why that's relevant. It's not. Okay, so hit us with your chart. Nick's got this handy dandy chart, guys.
I drew it up, not necessarily just for you guys, but for myself as well.
This is McDonald.
What is going to happen over the next 6 months as far as retrogrades go. So.
Oh, we should take a picture of that and post it.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are all the retrogrades that are happening over the next 6 months. You can see. Starting over here, it's June. So right now you have Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto. And Mars is actually tomorrow. So we're right there in terms of where all these things are retrograding.
You were texting me last night something about Mars and my fire and my chart. I don't know how you were messaging it in the thing. That's what you were writing.
Yes, because you have...
I don't know. This is probably neither here nor there.
Well, it's personal to you.
You can share all the things.
You have Mars and Pluto both in Scorpio. And Scorpio is ruled by not only Pluto, but by Mars as well. So it's a lot of destructive, transforming energy.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
But I mean, it's really good for you because it's all part of like your ego. So you're constantly changing the way that you transforming yourself. No, but you also have all these other planets in Sagittarius, which are all fire planets, and then you have the moon in the 8th house, which is the original house of Scorpio. So it gives it that Scorpio energy and that Scorpio fire too. So
am I gonna have an emotional breakdown?
I mean, I think that
a live stream.
You've done that enough in your lifetime, as far as I've heard.
Am I gonna emotionally freak out live?
I don't know about live because Sagittarius is very showy. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll post Nick's chart in the group. Hopefully I don't self-destruct in the next half an hour. We are able to change the way we perceive ourselves. Yes. Nick brings the light to the retrogrades. All right, so give us the goods. What do we got going on here?
So we talked a little bit. We talked before about Saturn and Pluto. We'll start there because we've done live talks about them before. But basically with Saturn retrograding in Capricorn, and it's going to be doing that till the beginning of September. We're changing the way that we perceive our social structures, perceive the way that we've built our lives, what we want to achieve. We're changing that. We're reworking that in ourselves. And with Pluto, in Capricorn, Capricorn is the home of Saturn. So these things are working together. So Pluto is transforming yourself, transforming your whole life, transforming your power, and everything that you want to achieve. It's bringing it all in and saying, is this what I want? Is this what really will make me happy? And yeah, it's all about transforming your life path and your achievement path. And then with, let's see, what else we have? We have Neptune right now. So with Neptune retrograde, we are changing. Neptune is all about the fog that we kind of surround ourselves with when we want to just sit in the moment and be happy with everything and be at peace with everything. Neptune retrograde takes all of that and says, well, is this really what's happening? Like, is this reality? Is this what I want? You can either ignore the energy and it just makes you super foggy and kind of spaced out, or you can use that energy to kind of change the way that you spiritualize everything, change the way that you just accept everything. And then you have, let's see, so what else we have? We have Jupiter that's ending its retrograde cycle next week, I believe. Jupiter in Scorpio has been changing the way that we perceive our power, right? Changing our understanding of what our power is. It's at its final cycle, so we have gone from the last few months and done that. Yeah, and it's also working, not obviously, but Scorpio is the home of Pluto, and Pluto is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is the home of Saturn. So all of these things are working together to change our inner perceptions and understanding, make us super gurus about what we want in our life, hopefully.
Yeah.
As long as you can listen to the energy.
Which makes so much sense. We were just talking about this before we came on, about all these changes that I want to make around here. And all this stuff. And the resistance that is trying to hold me back is bugging me to no end. But, yeah.
Aries aren't prone to changing. They want to just
my husband's an Aries and maybe in like a traveling Sagittarius that wants to like change everything every 2 minutes. I'm like, let's burn this down and try again. And he's like,
I shouldn't say that because Aries definitely do like to change, but with his Capricorn rising, Capricorn definitely doesn't like to change.
There's some problems.
Yeah, Capricorn builds the walls.
There's some problems.
Anyway.
So Elizabeth is popular, tired. Yeah, and you know what too? So we've talked about this in the last couple of videos. Also, we did like last week, is that a lot of this stuff, you're impacted individually too by where everything was in your natal chart at the time of your birth. So Nick is always, and then you can always look at generalizations and be like, oh, the moon in such and such is generally going to like enhance this thing. But if for you, I don't know because I'm not an astrologer, but for you, like all this stuff was kind of opposite that moon in that sign or something, you might not really fall into that generalization. You might have something else really happening for you.
Or it fits more into a pigeonhole of your life than it would for other people.
So when we see these things,
so when I say like, for instance, social structures and changing and what you want to achieve, say if it was in your 7th house of relationships, right? All of this might be reworking, your house, who you've built these things with, right? If it was in your 1st house, all of this energy is sitting on you, so it's more about you than it would be about anybody else. If it was your 4th house, it could be just about your family, your mom, your dad.
Which is what's so cool about learning astrology and why you should sign up for the astrology class that starts on Monday. Anyway, okay, so what else do we got, Nick?
Okay, so now tomorrow we have Mars going retrograde. And what Mars is in right now, it's in Aquarius. So over the past few weeks, we felt the need to, and whatever it's happening in your chart, we felt the need to kind of break free from what's been happening, act on our kind of impulses and want to be.
Was that why I wanted to change
You want
everything?
freedom. Yeah, well, yes, with the moon in Aquarius, you definitely might have been feeling that. An emotional need to break free and be, freedom.
I just want to have no home address. I don't know why. I want to sell all of my belongings and just hit the road.
Well, the world the way it is right now, now is the time.
And it's really just I just can't stop thinking about selling everything.
But it's starting in Aquarius, and it's going to make its way back into Capricorn. So basically what it's saying is that you need to slow down, right? Says that you need to look at what you want and what you want for your freedom and how you can achieve that, and really look at the steps it's going to take to achieve that. Redirect yourself towards what you know, slow down basically is all it's saying. And it's really, this is all working in line with everything else that's going on, all of the transformations of what you want to achieve in life. But instead of just acting and just doing them, take the time to really step back and understand what the consequences are. Really, you know, Capricorn's all about making lists, looking at the steps it takes. So really, you know, plan it out.
Guys, for those of you who came on later, Nick made this handy dandy chart of all of the retrogrades. We'll post it in the group for you.
Which again was more for me than it was for you.
You should see, that would have been a cool thing to email out.
Well, I just thought of it this morning.
Yeah, Jennifer Joe, 3-year plan. They bought themselves a school bus. They're going to remodel. I'm jealous to no end. So Alicia is Leo, all action. Yep, I hear that. 2 birds, 1 stone. All right. What else? Where are we at?
All right. So we've talked Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars, which are all going to be the 5 that are going to be retrograding as of tomorrow. Then Jupiter will end next week. And then about a week after that, we will see Mercury finally go retrograde again.
So this is the popular one.
Yes, this is the one that we all know.
This other stuff goes retrograde. Nobody really talks about it. Everybody's minds their business. But people love to bring up Mercury retrograde.
Because Mercury retrograde is the closest to the sun, the closest to our ego.
Paula, right? Next summer, I want to travel all of this body, this continent, that's the word, where we live here in North America. And I want to,
Capricorn rising.
My idea. I'm going to travel around and meet other, and meet enchanted sisters. And then I'm going to do something too that involves video, but I'm not going to say yet what it is. It's a secret that only my head knows about. And
haven't actually planned it out.
I think Nikki might know about it. I don't need to plan it. It's in my head.
This is not what the stars say.
I don't need to plan it. Our behind the scenes tech guy, he emailed me one day or messaged me, and he was like, "So Sarah, what do you use for your link management? Where do you keep your links?" And I wrote back, I was like, "You know darn well I don't keep them anywhere but my head." That was one of those poke the bear questions. You know the answer. You're just asking to bug me. Anyway, yes.
So it's going to be in Leo when it goes retrograde. And Leo is all about our ego, our want to be seen as somebody regal and want to kind of, the sun is all about changing the outside world so that it matches the inside. And when Mercury's in Leo, it's all about how we talk that process out. So it's going to be taking all of those kind of things that we might have been doing to kind of get our freedom so that we change how we want. And it's going to be, changing what we want to achieve. And it's going to be, we're going to be rethinking the way that we've been talking about that and talking about ourselves in that light.
So this Mercury retrograde, give me some hot points real quick again. Sum it up quickly.
We are going to be talking about ourselves. And rethinking the way that we talk about what we want.
Okay.
We will be rethinking the way we talk about what we want.
So in relationships maybe?
Well, it all depends on where it is in your chart,
True.
Yeah.
So it could be relationships, could be career, could be where you want to live. So this Mercury retrograde, depending on where all this stuff happens in your chart, you could be really finding yourself communicating what it is that you want, and you might perhaps, because it's retrograding, be seeing what you want from a different new perspective.
Because that's all what retrogrades are.
Ding 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 ding. I knew that was the word.
Because you know what? As soon as Jupiter ends its retrograde, Mercury goes into retrograde. Jupiter's all about perception and understanding, and Mercury's all about talking that out. So
nice stuff. Nice stuff. Yeah, so that should be interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder You should look at my chart and tell me what to expect, because I already have enough changes going on here. Okay. What's next?
So then we have in the middle of that Mercury retrograde, we have Uranus going retrograde.
Oh,
you'll
we have
see
a
that here. Oh, yes.
And then we'll talk about Uranus retrograde. So Nikki wants to know what we should look at when looking at our chart in terms of these retrogrades.
So what these retrogrades are is essentially they're just transits, right? So you take the planet, like for instance Mercury, and it's okay, it's in Leo. So then you look at where Leo is in your chart, and whatever it's touching on, if it's touching in a house or if it's touching a planet, that's what it's going to be affecting.
True
story.
And if you want to learn more about that, you can take our astrology class that starts on Monday. Nick and Anna teach.
So we are going to be having Uranus retrograding into Taurus. So what Uranus is a big one. It's a big one. When Uranus moved into Taurus, we saw Hawaii erupt. We had tornadoes in Connecticut.
Yeah, which is weird. We literally, when we got the tornado warning, it came across on all of our iPhones. You know, we all have iPhones. And so, well, yeah, you don't anymore, do you? No.
An iPhone? Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, you didn't used to. So anyway, so like we all got this tornado warning blowing up on our phone.
2018.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, and literally, so instead of like doing what people do when a tornado warning comes, I guess, which is like go someplace appropriate, we like started calling each other.
I opened my windows.
Yeah, we were like, bring it out. We're like, are we supposed to move away from the window?
But you know what? It was really scary because there were a lot of people affected, and it's probably really stupid of us to have done that.
Yeah, but I mean,
we only got like 30 seconds of rain.
Yeah, but like that wind that came through did more damage than the last hurricane we had.
Yeah.
But we're used to hurricanes, so they tell us, like, we know, like 3 days in advance. We're like, oh, there's a hurricane coming. We need to board the stuff up. We need to like batten down. We're not used to this like sirens tornado thing, and none of us knew what to do. We're like, this isn't right. This must be an error.
I think Anna and I made grilled cheese.
Yeah, we were like, this has got to be one of those errors where they accidentally like plug in the wrong zip code. It's not here. We're like looking at the sky. But yeah, anyway.
So that's what happened when Uranus moved into Taurus, because Taurus is all about the ground. It's all about the stable ground that we stand on, right? So if you think about Uranus is all about hectic and craziness and wanting to, in a personality way, it's about being independent, creating kind of hectic environments so that you.
I feel like I need to know where that is in my chart.
Create independence.
I think that might speak. That speaks to me
in your chart. It's going to be in
on a level.
I believe it's in your house of dreams and wishes. So
that makes sense.
Ouch. But basically when it goes retrograde, we're gonna take all of that kind of crazy hectic energy about our stable groundwork, and it's all gonna be internalized. So we're gonna feel that agitation inside. We're gonna feel the need to change something within ourselves, not necessarily an environment around us, because retrogrades are all about being introspective. So it's going to be going retrograde in Taurus. We're going to be changing the way that we kind of perceive our, value and creating, our strive for independence. It's going to be moving into Aries during that retrograde cycle. And again, you're going to probably feel a need to run away.
It's not what I need.
And it's going to be moving. That's going to be happening throughout the end of the year into next year. So that's what we got to look forward to.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And I will say that, what is this? Beginning of August. So there is a meme out there that says 6 planets will be retrograde. In the middle of August, we will have Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So lots of social calamity happening.
Wow. So you guys have any questions about any of this or retrogrades in general? So I know we probably had some people come on later on. Nick's gonna put this chart he made.
I might actually make a pretty one if you want me to.
Yeah.
Or I can just take a picture of this one.
Surely. You can do whatever you like. I'm trying to find my birth chart because I want to know where Uranus is in my but it's not cooperating. So we're going to put this in the group. And, so retrogrades, we started off by just talking about retrogrades in general. And it's just about perception. So when things go retrograde, the planet's not actually going backwards. We just perceive it going backwards.
Yes.
Right? We perceive a retrograde,
right.
Which is that's how we're impacted here. It's our perception of things changes, which is why things seem so chaotic in retrogrades, because we're like,
I want to change something on the outside, but really it's something on the inside that you need to change.
Truth, Holmes. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if we talked about this week. Michelle wants to know what happens when planets on your natal chart are in retrograde at the time of birth.
So anytime that we've been talking about,
you're just not going to see it. Just keep
okay.
talking.
I really need to see myself to talk, though. What am I going to do? Anytime that you're born with a retrograde planet, basically what happens, that's going to really confuse me. Basically what happens is that, so for instance, Mercury retrograde, you're always in a Mercury retrograde, you're changing the way
you're born into your own personal Mercury.
Basically, and you're going to be somebody that is going to think about things differently, going to be a little bit more introspective in your mind. You're going to be people will notice that, you're going to probably be somebody that changes the way that other people think about things. You're going to want to, at least, or maybe you're so introspective with it that it doesn't really matter what other people think and communicate to you.
So let's see here.
Can I just have some good news for a change? Well, the thing is that, it's all about changing.
Sounds like it brings a party.
Life is all about changing. So retrogrades are all about taking what's happening and making your inside change so that the outside is easier to change. So all of these things are actually good news if you look at them with the right perspective.
So Kelly wants to know if in the astrology class we'll go over the charts you received. Yeah, when you sign up for the astrology class, Anna and Nick send you a birth chart with a little more detail than the free ones you get online. And you will, so it's what you do is as you go through the elements and the planets and the houses, that's what you do. You put it together, right, Nick? Yeah. And then Anna and Nick are going to do like an office hours thread each week this time around for 4 weeks. Yeah.
Sarah's always full of surprises for me.
I think I told Anna.
Well, I'm happy to do that. I really.
Anyway, and you guys can ask questions on the office hours thread, and they'll answer them for you.
I think that's actually a really great idea. So
I know, I'm full of them. Nikki says,
communicate them, Sarah.
It's like when Steve asked where the links were. I was like, in my brain, obviously. Why can't you just figure them out? Nikki, Uranus is a generational planet or something more personal to us.
All of these things are generational planets. With the generational planets, you're going to see more. The thing is about in your natal chart, it's more generational, right? In a transiting chart, when the transiting Uranus, it's affecting everybody the same way. So. Oh,
is this my Uranus right here?
That's your Uranus right there, but Uranus is going to be in Taurus, so it's going to be up here.
So what's that have to do with my stellium? It's part of my stellium.
Seek. This is where I kept saying you just want to run, fire, go, because when Uranus feels like it's being stuck and there's nowhere for it to go, that's when Uranus is like, I need to just go and break free and change and create new experiences. So you got that in Sag, which is, it's at least, you're doing it in a very kind of philosophical.
The struggle is real.
Yeah.
So Shelly is assuming this is all good for clearing and ascension energies on Earth. Yeah, because a lot of stuff is coming up, right? But I think that said too is that all this chaos. So for those of us that are, you're like, I don't want to hold this guy. For those of us that are more like enlightened beings, right? And we're working on this stuff and we're like, okay, let me explore this part of myself. For us, this helps us clear and ascend. But when we look at people that are really stuck in their ways and they don't like change, and this is where we start to see things like political chaos. We start to see, you know, like more kind of like waging war type arguments. And it's because the people that want to resist this stuff, the people that, and it's like, it's so like Mercury retrograde, I'm
yeah, no, keep going. I was just going to add on to it.
But like with Mercury retrograde, it's one of the things we talk about is communication. Like, oh, my cell phone died, my laptop died, my internet died, like all this stuff happened. So there's like the half of us that are going to be like, okay, Mercury's retrograde, and obviously I'm being told to take a break from technology, right? Like I'm going to step away. I'm not going to get ticked because everything's breaking. I am given the message that I need to communicate differently right now and not through technology. And then there's like this other sect of people that's going to be like, freaking internet and freaking whatever, and they're going to like call the cable company and berate them. And then they're going to like barrel into Apple and demand a free iPhone. And there's these people that aren't going to go with it, you know, they're going to resist at every turn. And so that's where we see like retrogrades causing chaos, because there's half of us that are like enlightenment and ascension, and half of us that are like freaking change and what's happening and everyone's annoying me. And that's where we see chaos.
With absolutely no understanding of what's happening around them.
And that's where we see chaos so much with retrogrades. So what were you going to say?
Exactly what you just said. Great job.
Oh, good. Oh, God. I'm glad that you're reading my mind. At least somebody's able to read my mind.
It's always interesting how you've been able to pick all of this up without me teaching you.
Michelle, it's my skill is I learn very quickly.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's very interesting.
It made me a really good tutor though. Like when college kids were like, I need to read this book and write a 10-page paper in 2 hours, and I was like, bring it, we can do this.
For me, I need somebody to bounce ideas off of. For you, it just seems like
I know.
Sagittarius, go.
I know. Yeah. People say like, oh, I wish I had your brain. And I'm like, no, you don't. It's a lot happening. And hence I don't sleep either because of it. Michelle said, I have 4 planets in my chart that are in retrograde. But, you know, that might not be a bad thing, especially like if you look at what they are, you know, there's a whole story being told there for sure.
Yeah.
And Melissa, is there better to look at a birth chart or a transit chart for retrograde, or both together?
So you're going to look at both together. You're going to look at your birth chart, and then you're going to look at the transiting planets around your birth chart, and where those line up on your natal chart, you know, your birth chart, that's what's going to tell what's being affected by those retrograde planets.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Is it possible to request 2 birth charts for the astrology level 1 to learn with?
I think we might be able to do something for you.
My general answer is going to be no, because it would take them forever to do that. They do 2 for everybody. It already takes a super long time to do them. When does the class close? Sign-ups for this class are supposed to close Thursday, but for some reason, one of the pay in full link won't let people pay. So if I can't fix it, then it might stay open and if I can't fix it soon, I have to reach out to tech support people because it's nothing I can personally figure out. There's nothing wrong, so I don't know why it's doing that. It's supposed to close Thursday, so if we can't get the payment link fixed soon, then the class starts Monday though, so you're good.
Everyone's one of those things the tech elf cannot help with.
Yeah. Lauren says, I know it says level 1, so it's okay for people who know absolutely nothing about the houses and are just learning. Yes.
That's the point for level.
Yep, this is it. And then if you do want to learn astrology, if you sign up for level 1, then people that are in level 1 will get, you can have the option to sign up for level 2, and you'll get a special discount. And I don't even know if we're going to open up level 2 publicly. We're not really sure yet, but anyway.
We will at some point.
Yeah, it's done. There's some people who tried this class for us 6 months ago as a beta. And so the class level 2 is done. It's just has not been taught live yet.
Yes.
So Nikki, hey, grab me that picture over there of the cats. Enlightenment and understanding. Yes. You guys see this lovely portrait? That's Chloe. This is Peter. I can't see it in the camera. And this is Peter, who's in my lap. And Chloe, my other kitty, she's not in here. But Chloe, this one, is nicknamed Bearcat. She's always purring in the background. But today I've got Peter here. So you can put down our lovely community member Caitlin of CherishedCompanions.org painted that and sent it to me.
I work part-time as an easel as well, so.
Paul is totally in run, go all the time. I like to change and try to make things better. I always suggest everyone that something bad has happened for change eventually turns into good things. Yes. Yes, Bearcat. Well, this actually isn't Bearcat. This is Bearcat's brother. I don't know where Bearcat is. Bearcat gets really, she has anxiety and she gets really ticked when I go away. And I was away visiting family from Wednesday till yesterday. So she's giving me the cold shoulder.
Bearcat has a little brown tail tip. This is how you know.
Yes. Nikki needs a chart for the charts, right? Let's see here. Oh, it's working again. It keeps coming in and out. Somebody said it wasn't working yesterday too. Is there any other resources you recommend in addition to the PDFs for the class? That book you suggested.
Yeah, Cosmic Astrology, Astrology, a Cosmic Science, I believe is what it's called, by Isabel Hickey. It's my favorite astrology book.
We can put it in the class group too. Yeah. Maybe Nick can go in there and wax poetic about his favorite resources. Oh, Steve's here. Who let Steve in our group? It's okay. You should be in our group.
I didn't do it. It really
did. You guys, it's Steve, our behind the scenes
tech elf.
Who can't fix the payment link either. There's nothing wrong with it. It's something on like the class site. I gotta email them. Yeah, maybe Paula. That's the way to look at it. Yeah, yes, it is quiet. This is Peter. He's just regular. He has regular level purrs instead of Bearcat purrs. So yeah, that's all the things that are in retrograde.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Venus because Venus happens at the end of the year, and it's going to be in Scorpio when it starts retrograde and end in Libra. So if you've been feeling at that point, and this is way far off, but at that point you might be feeling like, you know, maybe your relationship is taking your power, and then you need to bring it back and say, how can I balance all of that out? But that's in October. So if you haven't been feeling that yet, maybe you have, maybe you haven't.
Yeah, so when do we start feeling retrograde?
Probably, or
noticing that.
It's all a cycle, so, you know, as it gets towards the end of the cycle, it could be a month, it could be weeks, it could be a couple months, right? You know, it all depends on your personal cycle and what's happening in your real life.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. So do you guys have any other retrograde questions for us? And so you want to just run through the dates? Ow.
I don't have exact dates because I just wrote this morning.
Well, we'll put the dates on this when we put it in.
Yes, we will do that. But you can see I put the months and where it all lines up.
Yeah. What's the next one we have coming up though?
The next one. So we have Mars tomorrow, and then Mercury is after that, in the middle of July. When is your
Mercury.
Yeah.
When's what?
When is your the Sisters Enchanted getaway?
What's your question?
Getaway, California getaway. Sorry, so sorry.
It's in September. I almost called you Potter live, and then.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I used to call Nick Potter as his nickname because it's a long story.
Yeah, well, no, that's a great time for a getaway, though. Really, it's the end of Saturn retrograde, and yeah.
The Salem meetup. It is on Mayben weekend.
What day is that?
It's like 21st, I think, of September.
Oh, okay. So then Saturn will definitely be done retrograding.
Yeah. Cool.
Be a great time for learning about spirituality.
Kelly, is there a particular crystals we can work for the different stages of the retrograde, or just whatever we feel?
I know nothing about crystals other than they're pretty.
Yeah. So, you know, I would feel like that you could, there's a couple ways I think you could go with that. Because all the planets are going to have crystal associations. They're going to have different crystal associations, different herb associations, things like that. So, and different elemental associations, and like all the houses have all these. So what you could do is you could, I feel like, take crystals that are like, so like a crystal that's associated with Mars, for example. You could get a crystal associated with Mars, and you could maybe do like a grid, like with that crystal, like in the center of it, and then put some like grounding or like clear quartz or some like black tourmaline or jet or something like snowflake obsidian, something like protection and calming kind of stuff. So maybe you could put the crystal that's associated with the planet in the center, and you could do like a grid around it for grounding and protection and calming of that energy. I feel like you could do that. Alternatively, I would say that if you are trying to like
also just work with the elements. I don't know if there's certain crystals that work with certain elements, because Mars is a fire element planet,
yeah.
so
that's
maybe
they're like
something
usually intertwined.
Yeah.
Like tarot associations, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So and herbs. So you could do that where you take the like a crystal that represents the planet, put it in the middle, and do like some black tourmaline around it, or like some rose quartz, or even some like red jasper for grounding or something, and like try to like ground that energy. But if you wanted to work, I know, but if you wanted to, I'm always scratched up because he's just always pawing at me. If you wanted to like work with that energy, like for example, if you really wanted to work with a Uranus in retrograde, like that chaos energy and like moving stuff around, shaking stuff up, if you're like, yes, I want to ride this wave, maybe just grab a crystal that is associated with Uranus and just wear that sucker like in a little crystal pouch or something, or on your body, and just like.
Or if you're somebody that flies too high already and you want to be grounded,
yeah,
you know, crystal
look at all the cat hair on you.
It's love hair.
Why did you just say that? Don't say that ever again. So that's some way I feel like you can work with crystals. And then too, like if you are a person who lives in a house with people that you feel like are going to be particularly like war torn or more like ragey during a retrograde, you're like, they are definitely not people that are in line for enlightenment and ascension. They're kind of like anger or frustration. Then you might want to get out those protection kind of crystals for yourself and be like, I'm gonna go ahead and protect myself from your negative energy that this retrograde is certainly gonna bring out.
Yeah,
Stephanie says cat glitter. I like that.
Cat glitter. That's great.
Nikki's definitely doing some calming grids.
Going to work covered in cat glitter next time.
Oh, Pete. I got Pete. He was only 5 weeks old and he fit in my hand. Oh, look, they grow so fast. And, okay, that's enough of that. Anybody else have any retrograde questions for us before we bounce off of here? Go relieve my mother of the 3 grandchildren. Probably wanting a break right now. Let's like actually pretend like we're on a live stream for the next 2 hours. We'll just sit in the same spot and talk to each other. All right, I don't see any other questions. So Nick's gonna fancy up our chart for us. Oh, Nicole asked. Sometimes questions don't come through, Nicole. If you had a question that we didn't see, I might want to repost. Oh no, there you are. We passed it by. Mars will be in Aquarius, correct? What does this mean for an Aquarian?
So when planets are on top of your natal planet, any planet is on top of a natal planet, it intertwines that energy and makes it really hard to separate out what's reality, what's really you and what's really happening out there. So I'm an Aquarius too. So with Mars on top of our sun retrograding, we're going to see that as, that need to break free and need to experience something new and create something new. It's going to be part of us. It's going to feel like it's part of us, but we have to understand it's a retrograde. So it's not part of us. It's just something that's happening in our environment, and we need to adjust the way that we're perceiving that energy. And Mars is very aggressive. It's very, it breaks the walls down around it. So it's going to feel like, a lot of people are going to be coming at you or trying to be aggressive with you, and you're going to want to push back with that. But you need to just reassess the way that you're seeing it, and plan the proper steps to get what you want, to achieve.
So Melissa asked, my Mars and Sun are both in Cancer. What can I expect for the retrograde?
Your Mars and Sun are both in Cancer. So these are actually opposing energies, right? So Mars will be ending in Capricorn, which is the opposite sign of Cancer. So you're going to see it as it's going to be something that is totally foreign to you, what's happening around you, because you're going to want to be very emotional and, very reserved and very, think about your home, but all of these things are going to be, achievement oriented, which, some people, home is what they want to achieve, but in astrology, what achievement is like what you work for. So you're going to have to take that energy and say, okay, well, I want to be home, but I really need to think about what I want to achieve and where I want to go. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, guys.
Incorporate those energies together.
Well, we are going to do a watch party tonight of the replay of the moon class, and Nick will be in the comments for that. All you gotta do is, I don't know what time it's gonna be though. I can't start until after my kid goes to bed, so that could be never because they don't sleep.
You guys can just post and I'll talk. I'm here all day.
I'm here forever. You're moving to Connecticut. Woo! We're
Prepare
here
for high taxes.
Yeah, save some money. Bananas cost like $8 each. Just kidding, kind of, not really. They really do. I just saw corn for $1.99 an ear at Nick's store.
Really? That's cheap. It's usually like $2.59.
Like you should have bought all that corn.
It's not my store either. I just worked there.
So what's that leave us in regard to retrograde about moving? Any ideas while I type this up?
Moving, your home.
Yeah.
Plan it out. Really make sure that the plan is
yeah.
It's not just on
Don't
a whim.
leave like last minute communications with the movers or something.
Yeah.
Or like just yourself or like the U-Haul company. If you're, don't do that. Don't do it. If you guys want to join us for the astrology class that starts Monday, I just put the link in here. And you learn about the planets, the houses, it's 4
the signs,
weeks
the elements, how to put those things into a thought.
Access forever. Oh, and we added new bonuses. So we're going to do a workshop on Jupiter, where it is in your chart and what it means for cultivating abundance. So whether you're accepting of it or deflecting of it and how you can figure out what to do about that. And also, which I'm going to do that with Nick. So he's going to bring the astro part and I'm going to bring the magic part, the less strings of money into your life part. I'm going to do that. And then also you also now will also get access to a workshop that we did in our Enchanted Journey program on astrology for witches, which brings a little magic to your astrology game, and also our tarot and astrology video from our tarot journey class. So if you sign up for level 1 astrology,
I'm so excited to do level 1 astrology again. It's, I come home and I talk astrology and suddenly all the world just disappears for me. So it's really a passion and I'm really excited to share it. So.
Oh, that's so nice. All right.
Sarah doesn't touch anyone. That was really strange.
I'm not as touching. Anyway, all right. If you guys have questions about any of this retrogrades, and Nick's gonna get our chart together for us, we'll put it in the group. We're gonna do a watch party tonight on the moon signs, and I think that's it. We'll see if we can pop in one more time, like maybe Thursday or something. We'll figure it out. All right. Well, you guys have a great day. Hope it's super enchanted for you, and we'll see you later in the week, and we'll be in the comments tonight for the watch party on the moon sign class. I don't know what time though. You just gotta watch out for it.
I will not have the calculator on me then, although you won't
Nobody
be able
will
to see anyway.
Nobody will see in the comments. You could be in your jammies.
There goes my ego.
All right. You guys have a great day. Thanks for joining.
Bye, guys.
Bye.